Hey, what's up you guys? This video is going to be kind of a walkthrough of my swiveling table in my van. I had a handful of people comment on my last video requesting that I do a little more in-depth tutorial on the table. So since I didn't actually document or film any of the making of the table, let's kind of do a walkthrough and kind of point out what I did. The table has a couple different positions to allow for different types of functionalities. Right now it's in the perched position, where it's just kind of up resting on a little bumper pad up on the dash. And this allows for a couple different things. One, as you can see, we can stash our plants up top next to the window so they can actually get some natural light. And also it keeps the table up and out of the way, primarily for the passenger seat. When it's swiveled forward, you can still get in and out without hitting the table. And that way you don't have to disassemble the table every time you want to be moving, because we use it quite a bit throughout the day, so it's nice to have it already assembled but still be able to get in and out of that front seat. So the table swivels out, one-handed here, out and down into this center position, and that adds kind of the dining position. And the swivel allows for you to get out of position without having to slide underneath the table or anything like that. Everything stays where you had it, everything on the table. You don't have to move anything like that. It stays right in position. The mount underneath, as you can see, is off-centered. That allows kind of for some more dynamic functionality, because then you can swivel one end further than the other, so you can kind of place it in other positions that you wouldn't if it was just mounted right in the center. So, and kind of the one other position that we use is when we're driving long distances. As many Promaster owners know, there is no armrest on the passenger chair. So I designed the table to fit just right in between both chairs. As you can see, this is right on top of that and kind of mimics an armrest. So during a drive, you can have two armrests, a little center table for books or coffee cups or what have you. So we'll take a look at more of the build of this. Down below you can kind of see how it's arranged. We got pretty much just some electrical conduit in such a fashion that it creates a stand. So the real magic, and let me move these chairs again. Oops, sorry, bud. The real magic comes in the stand part. So we have two different diameter pipes, one sliding into the other, as you can see. So that allows it to swivel and go up and down, and just pretty much provides that functionality. Now, this is a locking bracket, so you can, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but as you can imagine, you can slide this whole thing up, and then this will lock in place, so you can keep it elevated. And that way, often we'll use that when we're standing in the kitchen and we have the computer or something, it brings it up to a more of usable height. And then also, when you're at a slight angle, we have this, it's just a little locking hand nut. You twist it and it'll lock the stand into place. That way, if you're trying to use it at an angle, you can lock it in the center position and it's not going to slowly creep down one side on you or anything like that. So I'll kind of pull this off and show you a breakdown of the parts. So the build is actually pretty basic. As I mentioned earlier, you have two different diameter pipes. The base being larger than the actual stand, so the stand slides inside of this. And then, so that's one unit, one piece going up. You got a 90, another one going over, and a 90, and then you have just a coupling in between. So this is just a solid piece of thread threaded into here, and then exposed threads on the top. So under the table, we have this bracket that is threaded, so that receives this end here, and that's where the swiveling function goes on. So essentially, you can bring it all the way down to tight, and the table won't move. But if you back it out a little bit, then you are allowed to have some more play with those threads to swivel. Now, the trickiest part, Mr. Milo, was installing the receiver on the floor. So all that is the same type of bracket like this, just mounted on the floor of the van. So in the Promaster, right through here is a structural element beam. So what you have to do is literally take off the seat from the floor, remove the seat, remove some of the plastic trim, and you have to pull the floor pad all the way up. And I'm talking, this thing was, all the way to the driver's side to essentially expose this whole center area, all the metal. And you can take your time and figure out where you want to position it. And then basically I just used sheet metal screws and just mounted it right to that structural element. You got to be careful, the gas tank is right there, so make sure you don't hit that. But yeah, and then I just used a hole saw to cut a hole in the pad itself, the flooring, right above. So you can see this just receives right in there, like that. Voila. So now that's in there, and you can leave it, or whatever you want to do. Oftentimes if we remove the table, we'll leave that there because it's not much in the way. And then you can take this piece and it slides right in. And this is actually if you want to copy me kind of and do one of these, this is just a bicycle seat bracket. So essentially this is your bicycle seat post. So you slide it up, you lock it in place, and you can change the height. Pretty simple. We just pulled that off of an old POS bike that somebody didn't want and repurposed it. So now for the top, obviously that goes into there. Can't do it one-handed right now, but you get the idea. Pretty simple idea, really functional, and yeah, I hope this provides some ideas for other people's builds. If not just a little spark of innovation, maybe pull from this video and kind of customize it to your own build. One possible idea, since this stand is removable, I'm thinking you could make a couple more of these posts, maybe mount them somewhere all around the van in strategic spots, and that way you have one table and you can pull it out, place it in different areas depending on where you want to sit. So hope that helps and gives some ideas for your own build. See you.